Happy Friday, everybody. I'm happy to have you here for Pilates. We've got 45 minutes of flow style class. We're going to start and finish in standing. If you'd like to have a cushion for hands and knees to put under your knees when we're down on the floor, go ahead and grab that now. A small towel roll works great. Let's move at a pace that makes sense for our own bodies, respecting the fact that every day might be a little bit different, and today is our current adventure. But let's go ahead and get ourselves moving. So grab any extra padding you might want. Meet me up on that mat. Okay, we're gonna start in standing with our feet parallel to each other, heels lined up with our sit bones. So right in the middle of each cheek, we're gonna have those heels lined up. So we got a few inches between our feet. We're gonna settle our weight over the front of our ankle joints and drop those fingertips down, letting them slide down the sides of the thighs. We're gonna feel those fingertips reaching toward our outer knee joint lines, even though they won't quite make it all the way there. Let's take a couple of breaths as we continue to slide our fingertips down the sides of the thighs. We're gonna feel our underarm muscles engaging a little bit. We might even feel a little stretch across the top of the shoulder. Let's side to side. We're gonna feel the neck turning. We're gonna feel a little bit of a stretch, maybe on both sides as we turn. Maybe we can see our side wall, but maybe we can also see the wall behind us if we turn our head a little further. We'll look back toward our screen and then tip the head side to side. Let's see if we can get some length from the side of the neck all the way down to where the top of the shoulder folds into the upper arm. One more time to each side, ear to shoulder and ear to shoulder. All right, looking straight ahead, let's bring our shoulders up toward the ears and slide them back down toward our hips, feeling the shoulder blades sliding smoothly up and down along the back of our rib cage. Let's breathe in as we shrug and breathe out as we unshrug. One more time, inhale and shrug, exhale, drop those shoulders down, and we're gonna squeeze the blades together behind the back and then release them. Squeeze them together, feel a pinch through the back muscles, feel a stretch through the front of the body, and release those shoulders. One more time, squeeze. One more time, we'll release them, and then keeping those fingertips anchored gently by the sides and drawn slightly down toward the knees. We're gonna look down toward our toes and lift the toes up off the floor. We're keeping the base of the big toe and the base of the pinky pressed into the mat. What I want you to notice right now is that the arches on the inside portion of our foot does lift up on both sides as our toes come up. Let's spread the toes apart. Feel that stretch across the top of the foot in the instep. And looking to those toes, can we get our pinky toes to go down first? And then the next toe, the next toe, the next toe, until we finally press our big toe into the floor. Let's repeat that. Lift those toes, spread them apart, and tap them down, outside to inside. One more time, lift the toes, spread them apart, tap them down, and once we press the big toe firmly into the mat, we're gonna roll toward the outside and inside of our feet. Keep the toes pressed down into the floor. We're gonna feel our arches lift as we roll out. We're gonna feel those arches come down toward the floor as we roll in. One more time, roll toward the outer portions of our feet, toward the inner portions. Let's come right back to center and bring our fingertips to the front of the waist and the thumbs to the back of the waistline, so we can kind of rest our hands right at the top of the pelvis. We're gonna squeeze our fingertips and our thumbs toward each other. Then let's draw belly to spine. We're gonna feel those muscles engaging right underneath our fingers. Shift toward the toes and shift toward the heels. We're gonna move forward and back, moving around those ankle joints as our pivot points. The body is moving as one unit from the crown of the head all the way to those feet. As we come forward, we're gonna feel our muscles tighten into our fingertips. And as we come back toward the heels, we'll again feel those muscles tighten into our fingertips. Continue to shift forward and back. We're gonna feel our lower legs kick into the mix. A little bit differently depending on what we're doing, where we're coming back. And let's come right over the middle of the ankle again, and now we press the weight from foot to foot. Still moving as one unit from the crown of the head down to our ankles. And we'll feel those muscles again engage a little bit differently under our fingers depending on where our weight is settled. Feel your hips, your glutes kick in as we load and as we switch to the other side. And let's make some circles around our base of support. Again, the body moving as one unit from head to ankle, feeling those muscles turn on and turn off in a circular pattern depending on where we are in that range. Let's come over the toes, take a breath, and then breathing out, we're gonna take that circle the other direction. One more time, circle. And then we're gonna make our way again toward the balls of the feet and settle our weight there. Spread the toes apart again. Maybe look down toward those toes if balancing is challenging for you. We're gonna come forward far enough that we can let our heels hover off the mat. They don't need to lift very far, we're just taking weight off of them. As we feel our toes press into the mat, we're gonna feel the undersides of our feet and our calves start to engage. We may feel our inner thighs, we may feel our hamstrings in the back of the thighs. Maybe we squeeze our glutes a little bit. Can we take our weight up and down, heels lifting and lowering, with the weight staying forward on the balls of the feet? Lift for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Keeping the weight forward over the toes, we're gonna lower our heels down, and when they touch the mat, we'll shift back over our ankles again. Soften the knees up, take the hands away and shake them. Shake out those legs. And then let's bring our feet a little farther apart. Heels are now lined up with our shoulders, and we're gonna turn our toes outwards. We have a little bit of rotation outward from those hips, and our kneecaps point in the same direction that our feet are going out toward the bottom corners of the room. Let's bend our knees a touch, just to avoid hyperextending them. And we're gonna draw belly to spine, and spine to belly as if we're engaging a seatbelt of muscles around our waistline. Holding that area a little bit active, let's bring our arms up and overhead. Inhale, looking toward the fingers. Exhale, out to the sides with the arms and bring them down by the body. Again, arms come out, up and overhead. Arms come out to the sides and we'll bring them down. One more time, bring those arms out to the sides, up and overhead. And this time we clasp our fingers, turn the palms toward the ceiling, and we just straighten our elbows out as best we can, keeping those shoulders away from the ears. If you have tightness from the elbows down toward even toward the waistline, or feel a lot of pulling in the armpits, you're welcome to keep the elbows a little bit bent. We're gonna wiggle them toward a straighter position, just getting a little glide through those tissues. And then when we find that end range, we're gonna hold it there, take a big breath in. As we breathe out, let's let those shoulders slide down the back side of the body, keeping those seatbelt muscles engaged around the midsection. Let's tip our upper body from side to side, taking a nice controlled long side bend, reaching up and over toward the top of the side wall on 1, pressing through the foot to come up and over to the opposite side wall. Inhale up to the ceiling with those arms and breathe out to the side. Inhale up to the ceiling and we'll breathe out to the other side. Let's take everything back to center. Open the arms out until the hands are shoulder level, and we're gonna bring the hands slightly forward of our trunk, so we take a little bit of slack back into the front of the body. Let's spin our shoulders in their sockets, circle the walls to either sides, letting the shoulders spin in their sockets. If you need to bring the arms down a little bit lower to take pressure off the shoulders, that's perfectly fine. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1, and let's switch directions. Keep it going, circle 4, 3, those upper arms might be getting a little tired. Let's bring our arms down and give those shoulders a couple of bouncing shakes. Give those elbows a couple of lifts out to the side, and we'll give the shoulders some circles. All right, let's tip our head from side to side. Come right back up to face upright, and let's keep our elbows straight as we bring our hands forward and up to shoulder level. Again, keeping the elbows straight, we're gonna point our fingertips down to lengthen through the tops of the forearms, and we'll point our fingertips to the ceiling, lengthening through the undersides of the forearms. Point them down, point them up. Again, point them down, point them back up to the ceiling. Keeping the fingertips lifted to the ceiling, we're gonna open our arms out to the sides. We may get a pulling in those fingers, we may get some stretch through the undersides of the forearms. From here, let's wave those hands down and up again. 3, 2, 1. Sweep the arms overhead again. With the palms facing each other, we'll look up to those fingertips. Big breath in. Exhale them down to the sides. Give the shoulders another roll back and down, and we'll bring our feet parallel to each other again, hip width apart. So a little bit wider than we had them at the beginning of class, a little bit narrower than we had them when they were turned apart. We're gonna take our pinky sides of our hands right to where the femur bones fold into the pelvis now. Press back, that's gonna take our tailbone back a little. We're gonna bend up our knees a touch to give some slack to the back of the thighs. And let's tip that trunk forward until we start to feel a stretch back through the backs of those thighs. Again, soften the knees a little bit if you need to take any pressure off your back. Let's reach our fingertips toward the floor, and we're gonna move into a row. Tuck the elbows in by the sides, squeeze the blades, and then release those hands toward the mat. Squeeze, release, and reach. Squeeze and reach. One more time, squeeze, and let's keep our elbows tucked in by our sides now as we press the arms straight, reaching back behind the body, and we bend those elbows up again. Press them straight, feel the backs of the arms engaging, and bend. Press them straight, and bend. One more time, press those arms straight, take a big breath in. As we breathe out, we're gonna bring that trunk up nice and tall. Shake those arms out. and let's get ready to make our way down to the mat. If you do want that cushion, go ahead and grab it, place it in the center of your mat, and we're gonna turn facing lengthwise now. We'll step back until we're a foot or a foot and a half away from that extra padding. We just wanna have enough room that when we come down, we can get those knees and kind of that sensitive spot resting on anything extra that you'd like to have there. All right, again, we're gonna take our fingertips, the pinky fingertips toward the front of the hips. We're gonna fold our pelvis forward, hinging the body until we can get our trunk parallel to the mat. That may entail bending the knees a bit more depending on the flexibility through those thighs. Let's take our hands to the mat. We'll drop them all the way to the floor, bending the knees as much as we need to get there. Feel free to let your heels come up off the floor as we walk our hands toward the head of the mat. And we're gonna lower our knees down now. If you do have padding and you've missed it at this point, go ahead and make any adjustment you need to get those knees on top of the padding or the padding underneath the knees. We're gonna press through the base of our big toe here. Try to press that area into the mat. Try to press that area, the base of the pinky toe on the floor too, so we get a little bit of a stretch underneath the sole of the foot here. Let's draw the belly and the spine toward each other, keeping the low back nice and still, as if we were trying to keep something balanced on it now. And we're gonna rock our bottoms back and forth, taking it down toward the heels and then pulling ourselves forward till the shoulders are over the wrists. This is a nice gentle rock. We should feel some mobility through our feet as we do this. We're trying to get some nice input to those toes, especially if something's felt tingly. This is a nice way to give some good signals through from the body to the brain. All right, holding here, let's turn our tops of our feet toward the floor. So we're pointing our toes back to the wall behind us. Reset belly to spine, feel those muscles engage through that seatbelt region, and we'll curl. We're gonna tuck our tail underneath, curl to cat, looking toward the thighs. Take the tail to the ceiling and the breastbone forward. Let's move between those two positions, cat to cow, at a speed that's making sense for your body. Maybe we picture a little space between each vertebra as we lengthen into our new positions. Feel that midsection working. We might feel our shoulder blades working a little bit here. As we come back to center, let's keep our elbows straight. We're gonna squeeze those blades together behind the back and feel that breastbone come toward the floor. Reverse that shoulder blade position. Press away from midline toward the floor. Squeeze those blades back, press them forward. We're still keeping that trunk nice and still. Still enough that we could balance something in the curve in the small of the back. Press those blades toward the floor. We're gonna give our tail a side to side wag, folding a hip toward the same side shoulder to lengthen out the waistline on the side we're moving our hips away from. Let's come right back to center, hold it here. Take the feet together, bring the knees away from each other toward the edges of the mat. And again, we're gonna rock the bottom back and forth. Ease into that bent knee position. Ease into a little bit of load through those knees. We're lowering our rear end down toward our heels. Take the forearms to the mat, slide them in, bending the elbows a little bit more till the elbows are resting on the inner knee joint lines. And we're gonna shift our weight from side to side toward one side of the mat and toward the other, lengthening out through the inner thigh, particularly on the side we're moving away from. Coming back to center, slide or walk your hands forward. The upper body's gonna come up just a little bit here. And then as we breathe out, see if you can slide or walk your hands toward the head of the mat a little bit closer. We want to get to the point where we feel some stretch through the outer border of our shoulder blades. If you feel any of those guitar strings pulling in your armpits, I do want you to bend your elbows and add a little slack back into the system. Lower that forehead down, take a big breath in. Exhale, press through the palms and the heels of the hand, letting the trunk rise just a little bit. Lower down. Press through the hands and bring that trunk up just a touch. One more time, lower that forehead down toward the floor, and we'll take a big breath in here. As we breathe out, walk the hands toward the screen. We're gonna pause with the thumbs right next to each other to open up the opposite side of the trunk. Breathe in, feeling those ribs open up away from each other. And then breathing out, we walk our hands to the other sides. Pause there, hand over hand, big breath. Breathing out, let's walk those hands toward the head of the mat, drop to the forearms, and shift the weight over the elbows. All right, we're gonna bring our knees in a little bit closer to each other. Hold it here, breathing in. Exhale, draw those belly muscles in, tighten that seatbelt around the waist. We're gonna get rid of any extra padding we have under our knees, take it off to the side for use later. And let's slide our legs out until we're resting right on our upper thighs. Can we straighten those knees out a little bit more maybe, and let's press through our hands to lift that upper body up a little bit so the breastbone faces the wall in front of us. Give the chin a little nod, and then turn. Let's look toward our screen and away before looking right down toward the head of our mat. Squeeze those blades together. Shoulders come together behind the back and the breastbone lowers toward the floor. Press those breastbones toward the ceiling as our shoulder blades press toward the floor. Squeeze and press. One more time. Squeeze together, breastbone comes down. Press the blades toward the floor, lifting the breastbone, and then we're going to turn to our side facing our screen. Let's rest with our elbow underneath our shoulder. We can start here with our knees bent, or if you want to challenge a little bit, straighten your legs out. Keep them slightly forward of hip level, but the hips are stacked one right on top of the other. We're going to hold here. Let your waistline come down toward the mat. We're going to hold onto the waistline with our upper arm. We're going to lower it down, and then we're going to pull that waistline up from the floor, pressing through that upper arm. Lower the waistline. Press the upper arm down, lifting the waist. One more time, lower the waistline. Press it up. We're going to hold that lift. Now we bend our knees and take our top hand to the ceiling. Let's take that top hand forward to the floor and right back up to the ceiling. Again, take it to the floor, take it up to the ceiling. We're holding this position. If you want to make it harder, more challenging, we lift our hip up. Otherwise, the hip stays on the floor. And we have 2 more times, dropping that hand down, raising it up. Last time, lower it down, take it up to the ceiling. We'll lower that side body if we've had it lifted up in the air. And let's come to a sitting position and give that weight-bearing side a little roll. We'll take it back and down, a couple circles. Tip the head away from that side, big breath in. Exhaling, we come up nice and tall. We're going to repeat on our other side. Let's take our forearm to the mat, elbow and shoulder are stacked. Straighten out the legs, bring them slightly in front of trunk level so we have a little flexion in the hip. And we're going to take that top hand, reach it to the waistline, and lift that waistline up as we press our upper arm down and the forearm into the floor. Hold it here. Lower the waistline, keeping the shoulder away from the ear. Press through the arm, lifting the waistline up a bit. We may feel even a stretch in addition to some activity through that lower waistline. Lower and lift. Waistline comes down one more time. We'll press it up. Let's bend our knees and take that top arm to the ceiling. Keeping the waistline lifted, our fingertips come down to the mat in front. We take them up. Float them down to the mat. Take them up. 2 more. We have the option to stay where we are or lift the side body. Those fingertips come down. We take them back up, and one more time, fingertips down. And take them back up. Let's keep our shoulders away from our ears as we lower our side body. Take a seat on the mat again and give that supporting shoulder a couple of rolls. Maybe a third one. As we drop it down, we'll tip our head to the other side, take a big breath. Breathing out, we come right back up. Let's lie down on the mat, and we're going to turn onto our backs with our knees bent and our heels lined up with our sit bones. Arms are right down by our sides. Let's flip our palms to face the ceiling. And as our shoulders release down toward the mat, I want you to picture a little bit of width through the collarbones. The collarbones are coming away from the center of the body, allowing those chest muscles to release and lengthen down into the floor. Turn your head toward the screen and away. We'll repeat that again. Just assess if that has any effect on your chest mobility. If you feel a little stretch, this might be a nice one to do in the morning when you get up. One more time, turn to look toward the screen. And we'll turn and look away before looking right back to the ceiling. Let's reset belly to spine. Curl the pelvis under, tucking the tail between the legs and flattening the low back into the mat. Release, the tailbone comes toward the heels, and we gently lift that low back and touch off the mat. Curl it up, tailbone to heels. One more time, curl it up, flatten the low back. Reverse it, tailbone to heels. We'll take that pelvis right back to neutral and rock our knees side to side toward the screen and toward the far wall, allowing our hip to come up on the side we're moving our knees away from. Excellent. Coming back to middle, take a big breath in. Reset belly to spine as we breathe out. We're going to open our arms out to the sides, doing our best to line up our fingertips with our shoulders. Again, we can turn that head side to side. Maybe we get a little more intensity in that chest opening as we look away. Coming back to the center, breathing in and exhaling. With the core active, we bring our arms up to the ceiling. Let's reach our blades up. Feel those shoulder blade muscles engaging on the outside borders. Keep that core engaged. As we reach up, we're going to feel our abdominals working a little bit. Lower the blades. Reach them up, lower the blades. One more time, reach those blades up. Lower them back down. We're going to bring one knee up to 90 degrees and the other knee up to knee in tabletop. Let's float our hands forward, lining them up with our trunk and turning the palms to face the floor. As we stretch our fingertips toward the wall in front of us, maybe we can straighten our knees out a bit. Can we get some length behind the thighs without pulling into our backs? We don't have to have the knees all the way straight, but if they are, we could lengthen them forward a little bit, opening up the hips enough that we feel a little extra engagement through those abdominals. Let's pat our hands up and down. We're going to breathe in and breathe out at a pace that makes sense for you. As we continue to move our arms, we're working to see if we can dissociate the movement of the arms from the rest of the body, which we want to keep nice and still. Head and neck stay still. Legs stay still. Trunk stays engaged with the navel pulling down to the spine. Inhale and exhale. Let's pause our hands, flip the palms to face the ceiling. Open the arms out to T. Again, those hands are shoulder height, a little bit above the level of the trunk. Holding here, we're going to breathe in. Exhale the knees back to tabletop and we'll float our arms to the ceiling. Let's pull the knee closest to the screen into the chest. Lengthen the opposite leg all the way down to the mat, pressing the back of the knee into the floor. Take that bent knee across the body, give a little wiggle into a stretch for the side of the hip. Feel free to lift that tail up off the floor a touch. We'll come back to center and switch. Pull into the center, lengthen out, and draw that bent knee again across the body. Give it a wiggle. Take it back to center. Hanging onto the shin, we'll reset belly to spine and hover that straight leg off the floor. We're going to circle the wall in front of us, moving out of that hip joint. Circle the other way. Take that leg side to side, out toward the screen and over to the opposite wall, and we'll repeat. Stretch it forward. Let's pull that knee into the center with a big breath. Exhaling, we slide the opposite leg forward, hovering it off the mat. Stretch those toes forward as we pull our bent knee toward the body. We'll circle the wall in front of us. Let's reverse it. Circle and take that leg away from the screen and toward it. One more time, slide it away. Slide it toward, stretch it forward, and we'll lower that leg down to the mat. Release those glutes, release the abdominals. Hang on behind the lifted thigh, and as we kick our thigh into our hands, we'll straighten those legs, bring the toes to the ceiling. Find your hamstring length. Wiggle through the ankle. Add a little mobility work for all those structures reaching toward the tip of the toes. Pointing the toes, we'll draw the belly to the spine and hover our supporting leg up off the mat. Lower and lift that heel, keeping the rest of the body still as we can. 2. And 1. Lowering that foot to the floor, we'll take our hands to the mat and we're going to circle the ceiling, stirring that hip in its socket. There's 4. 3. 2. Breathe in at the top and then exhaling, we're going to take it the other direction. Here's 4. 3. 2. And 1. Give that knee a hug into the chest. Take a breath, and we'll switch up on the exhale. Let's hang on behind our lifted thigh, kick the thigh into the hands. Lengthen through that knee, bringing our toes to the ceiling, finding the hamstring length. Again, it's okay if that knee does not straighten all the way. Flex and point through those toes, lengthening out all the way to the tips of the toes. Pointing the toes to the ceiling, we'll reset belly to spine. Hover that supporting leg off the mat, stretching the toes forward. Lower and lift that heel. Here's 4. 3. 2. And 1. Take the foot to the floor. Let's bring our arms down by our sides and we circle that leg on the ceiling, stirring the hip in the socket. Circle 3. Circle 2. Breathe in at the top, and then taking that exhale, we circle the other direction. Here's 4. And 3. Circle 2. And 1. Hang on behind that lifted thigh again. Give the shoulders a roll back and down. If you need to bend the knee to get those shoulders to move in that direction, that's okay. As we kick our thighs into the hands, again, we hover our straight supporting leg off the mat.
Switch legs. Lift up, lengthen down toward that hovered position as we draw the other knee in toward the body. Switch it up again. We're going for hamstring length, which we should be able to feel even if we have a little bend in those knees. Switch them off. There's 4. 3, look toward your ankle joints. Here's 2. And 1. Hug those knees into the chest. Rock that body side to side and feel that low back open up as we continue to rock. Let's come back to center and give the shoulders a roll back and down. We'll turn our head from side to side. Coming back to center, let's go ahead and keep our toes touching. We're going to bring our hands toward the front of our ankle joints with the elbows on the inner thighs. See if you can give a little outward push, gentle outward push on those thighs to open up the insides of the hips. We're going to drop our shoulders down toward the mat, reset the belly to spine, take the arms to the ceiling. We're in a little frog position here. Let's keep that core engaged as we flex our feet and take our heels together. The feet are going to come up a little higher now. Let's press the feet toward the top of the wall in front of us. Then straightening up the knees, and then we bend right down to frog again. We're going past that tabletop. The knees are coming a little closer to the body. Press those knees straight and breathe into frog. Exhale and press. Breathe into frog. We'll repeat that one more time. Exhale and press. And inhale to frog. Let's come back to tabletop with the legs parallel to each other. Point the toes and stretch those toes up to the ceiling, doing our best to make an L with our body and our legs. Let's open those feet to the sidewalls, lengthen through the inner thighs, and then bring those feet up toward the ceiling as we breathe out. Open. Take those toes to the ceiling. Breathe them open. Inhale. Take them together. And then we're going to circle the ceiling with both feet, making a nice tight circle, moving out of that hip joint. Pause at the top of the motion. Take a breath in and breathing out, we circle the other way. 4, 3, 2, 1. Separate those feet, bend the knees, and flex, pulling the toes up toward the knees. One at a time, we draw a foot down and up, tap the floor, and then reach back up to tabletop. Reset that trunk, reset those shoulders down at the mat, and reset the lowest ribs a little closer to the spine. Maybe we challenge a little more by taking the heels down and lifting them back up. One at a time is perfectly fine. Lower and lift. One more. Lower those heels down. Leave them there, and let's take our toes down as well. We'll bring our arms down by our sides. Walk the feet in a little closer to the bottom, and let's give those knees a side-to-side rock. As always, allowing the hip to come up on the side we're moving away from if that feels appropriate. Let's breathe our knees to the ceiling. Exhale, belly to spine, and squeeze those glutes. We're going to press our heels through the mat as we lift our hips toward the ceiling. Reach the hips toward the heels as we lengthen down toward the mat. Lift up, tap down and lower. Lift up, tap down and lower. Lift up, tap down and lower. One more time, lift up, hips stay lifted toward the ceiling, and we go up and down on our toes. Heels go up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the heels to the mat, breathe in again, and exhaling, we lower the body down to the mat. Release the glutes at the bottom, take a breath. Breathing out, reset belly to spine, squeeze and lift back up. Holding those hips in the air, we take a knee out to the side, one at a time. Alternating, reaching the knee toward one wall, and then the opposite knee toward the other wall. Keep the hips lifted, feel those rear end muscles engaging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, center, and exhale, bridge down. Releasing at the bottom, we take our knees from side to side. Again, we rock to one side, and again, we rock to the other. Breathe in back to center, and breathe out, squeeze, and lift. Holding those hips up in the air, press your heel closest to the screen firmly into the floor as we move the other knee into the body for our march. There was 8. Switch 7, 6, 5, 4, there's 3, 2, and 1. Last foot comes to the mat. Squeeze those hips, hold them to the ceiling as we take a breath in, and we breathe out, lengthening that tailbone down toward the feet. Release the glutes at the bottom. Give those legs a side to side rock. Bring those knees to the ceiling. We'll cross an ankle over to the other side. Let your knee come out to the side. If you have a little more slack and can keep the shoulders and head supported, lift up into figure four. Let's rock toward and away from our screen. Taking some breaths as we ease into those hip rotators. Take it back to center. We're going to unwind and reset. Ankle to knee. Take that knee out to the side. And again, we'll lift if we have a little more slack. Keep in mind, it's completely normal to have asymmetry. You may be able to do this on one side and not on the other. That's okay. Rock away from and toward. And when I feel a pull, it should feel like a stretch. It should not be painful. Big stretch is okay. All right, coming back to center, we'll unwind, give those knees a hug, and take the feet to the floor. We're turning ourselves toward a screen, and we're gonna make our way up to all fours. Again, find that padding if you'd like to use it. And once we're on all fours, we'll set ourselves up there, give that tail a little wag side to side. Come back to center, maybe we curl through cat and cow. Do one more time. Let's come back to center, keep that belly engaged toward the spine, and we're gonna tap a hand to the opposite shoulder. Feel that trunk working. Tap, and tap, and tap, and tap. If you wanna make this more challenging, bring your fingertips out, the pinkies out to the edge of your mat. Make that midsection work a little harder. Let's take those hands underneath our shoulders. We're gonna walk our hands forward so they're well forward of our shoulders. We keep that core engaged or reset it and then shift forward so we open our hips toward the mat and the shoulders and hands again are engaged in line with each other. Turning the toes under, press through the feet and lift those knees up to plank. Keep the hips open. Let's lower our knees and then straighten them out, lift up. Lower it down, straighten and lift. Holding it there, we're gonna tap our feet side to side. If you need your knees down on the mat for a little more support, that is perfectly fine. Go ahead and take them to the mat. It'll look like this. Tap 4, tap 3, tap 2, tap 1. Everybody bring those knees down. We're gonna walk our hands back, knees and shoulders. Line up with hips and wrists. Wrists and shoulders, knees and hips line up with each other. That makes a lot more sense. Let's slide our leg closest to the screen, back behind the body. Squeeze the glute and lift up. Hold it there. Let's see if we can take our opposite arm forward. Hold 4, 3. Imagine having something balanced in the small of your back. Don't want to lose it. Take it down, switch sides. Lengthen back and lift. And the other arm comes forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more time on each side. Lengthen and reach. Stretch those fingertips away from the toes. One more time. Switch and lengthen. Arm reaches forward. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the hand down. Toes come to the mat. And let's swing that leg out to the side and press the foot into the floor. Okay, the knee on the bent knee side stays right underneath that hip. The far leg is reached out toward that side wall. We're pressing our inner thigh down on that straight leg. We can hold or we can give it a couple of rock backs. Decide what your body is happiest with right now. We're ready for a challenge wise. And then we slide our leg back, draw it in toward the other knee, curling to cat, and taking it through to cow. Come on back to center, lengthen that leg on the screen side out. Arc it to the side and press that foot into the floor as we lengthen through our inner thigh. Hold it here, or we add our rack backs. Bottom to heel, take it up, and one more time, bottom to heel. Take it up. Slide the leg back, bring that knee back next to the other one, and we're gonna curl through cat and bring ourselves up to a tall kneeling position. Feel free to resettle your knees on any extra padding you might have or want. Shake those wrists out, and we'll bring our one hand to the front of the body, the opposite hand to the small of the back. Big breath in and exhale, belly to spine. Feel those muscles engaging as we effectively draw our front side and back side toward each other a little closer. Let's lean back, feel the thighs engage as we feel our trunk start to work a little harder. Come up nice and tall right over those knees. Breathe it back. Take yourself upright. 2 more times, breathe back, lean into those thighs. Inhale right back up tall. And one more time, breathe it back.
Come on up nice and tall. We shake our wrists out. We'll take ourselves to the mat. Forearms come down. Get rid of that extra padding and we'll slide our legs back behind the body. Rest on those upper thighs. Squeeze and press through those shoulder blades. Lift up until we're resting a couple inches above our kneecaps. Okay. We're gonna bend and straighten one knee at a time. Get some length through the front of the thigh. Let's fight the urge to arch a little more through that back. Try to keep your trunk nice and still. Lift and lower the heels to the bottom. 3, 2, and 1. Slide that leg out. We're gonna turn to our side and come all the way down onto our upper arm. Bending up the knees, our heels and our bottom line up with each other now. Lift up that waistline a touch like we did when we were propped on our forearms at the beginning of class. And our top hand comes to the hip. Let's press our top knee up and down. Moving from that hip joint, keeping everything else as still as we can. Knee comes up, knee comes down, move to hydrants. Take the whole leg up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Swing that leg forward and back. Try to press your bottom knee firmly into the floor so you can keep it still as we swing that leg. One more time. Take it forward, stretch the toes toward the screen. We're going to bicycle back, bending the knee again, and swing that leg through. 2 more. Take that bicycle, heel the bottom. Heel the bottom. We'll line up our top leg with the bottom leg and then reverse it. Keep the heel to the bottom, stretch that leg out straight, and then sweep it through toward the screen. Bend. Lengthen to the back wall. Keep trying to fight, pressing that bottom knee into the mat. Last one. Swing it forward. We'll line up at that hinge position again. And then straighten both legs out, taking the top hand to the mat. Flex that foot, and again, we're going to swing the leg forward, point the toes and draw it back. Swing forward, point it back. Swing it forward, point it back. One more time, swing forward. And point back, touch the toes down behind, arc them up and touch them down in front. Arc and touch behind. Arc and touch in front. One more time each, touch behind. Touch in front. We got one more in us. Take it back and forward. We're going to lift up back to trunk level. Circle forward for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Circle backward. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse the top leg up. 7, 6, 5. Feel the side of the hip working. Hold that leg there. We're going to press our top hand into the mat and lift that bottom leg up and down. 7. Feel the inner thigh doing the work. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top leg comes down. Bend up the knees. Give your hip a little pat. And let's bring ourselves up and over to the other side. We're in the home stretch. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Resting on that bottom arm again, we bend up our knees and lift that waistline up. The top hand comes to the hip and we press our top knee up and down. Press for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that knee down. We'll lift to hydrants. Here's 4. Lift 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height. Swing the knee forward and back. Swing 3. Press that bottom knee down. Here's 2. And 1. Press it back. Swing forward and we'll bicycle. Drawing the heel toward the bottom. Swinging the leg through. 3, 2. Last one. Heel to bottom. Reverse it. Swing that leg forward. Bend the knee. 3, 2. Last one. Line up those legs. Hold it there. Straighten both legs out. Flex that top foot. Top hand comes to the mat. Swing forward. Point it back. Flex and swing it forward. Point it back. Flex it forward. And point one more time. Take it forward. Take it back. Toes touch down behind the bottom leg. Arc forward and touch down in front. Arc back. And forth. Maybe that hand goes to the hips. 2 more. Back. And forth. Last time. Arc it back. Arc it forward. Line up that top leg with the bottom leg and circle. 4, 3,
2, and 1. Circle backwards. 3, 2, and 1. Pulse it up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Slide the bottom leg back. Make sure it's lined up with the top leg. Lift it up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top leg comes down. Bend those knees up. Give your hip a pat, and let's turn onto our backs. All right, we'll keep those knees bent and the arms down by our sides. Take a moment to take a couple of breaths. Settle the back half of the body into that supporting surface. Let that breastbone drop. Let those ribs drop. Draw that belly down to the spine. And we're gonna rock our knees side to side toward the screen and away. Again, let's rock toward our screen and away toward that far wall. Take it back to center, cross an ankle over to the other knee. If you have a little more slack, we can lift. Let's rock away from and toward that crossed over side. Give a wiggle. We held it before after bridges. Let's just rock and kind of touch on that tight position a little bit. We'll come back to center. Switch it up. Ankle to knee. Give a little lift if you can. And we rock away from and toward, just touching on that spot that might be getting a little bit stretched as we move. Coming back to center, let's unwind, give those knees a hug into the body, and we'll rock everything from side to side. Breathe into the center, the feet come down. We're gonna open our arms to the ceiling and stretch them out to T, palms facing up, backs of the hands pressing into the floor. Nod your chin gently toward the neck and let's turn. Let's look toward our screen. Keep that chin nod and look away. Feel that chest open up. One more time, look toward the screen and look away. We'll look to the ceiling, bring the arms down by the sides, and let's turn toward our screen. Make our way over to hands and knees. Again, if you want that patting down, you can grab it. Place it under the knees. Curl through cat and cow. Nice and slow and steady. Taking some breaths as you do so, picturing some space between those joints. Curl it up. Take it the other direction, and one more time, curl it up to cat. Take it through to cow and right back to center. Give that tail a wag. Take it side to side. Coming back to center, again, we turn the tops of the feet under, press the balls of the feet into the floor. Drop the bottom back to the heels and walk those hands in toward the legs. We'll flip our weight over to our feet. Let's slide our hands back to our ankles. Bring our bodies up nice and tall. Take a moment here to get your bearings. Shake everything out, legs, wrists, shoulders, whatever needs it, and meet me facing that screen. We're gonna do a little bit of single leg balancing to finish up. So if you wanna find something steady to stay close to, a tabletop, a chair, you can do that, or you can simply meet me in the center of your mat with your hands on your hips. We'll settle our weight into our feet with the center of gravity just over our ankle joint. We're gonna shift to one side, come up onto the toes of the other side. Lift up and find single leg balance. If you wanna add some complexity, let's rotate that ankle. We can do it the other way as well. Pause that foot, and if you wanna make it harder, turn that head or look with your eyes from side to side. And realize what an impact balance and vision have, or what an impact vision has on balance. We're gonna hold here for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then let's switch. Shift to the other side. Come up onto the toes, and we'll lift to that single leg. You can rotate that ankle. You wanna challenge it. Switching directions. We quiet down that ankle, and again, if we wanna make it harder, look with your eyes or turn that head from side to side. And let's look forward. Hold it here, hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Take those feet down, shake everything out, shake the wrists out. As we settle our weight back toward our heels, we'll breathe the shoulders to the ears, exhale them down. Again, shrug them up and take them down.
Let's bring our feet together. We'll close with a big breath in, arms out, up to the ceiling. Look to those fingertips as we press our palms together and we bring them into center. Awesome job. As always, hope you guys have a great weekend and a nice long one if you do have a long weekend, and we'll do it again next week.